Hel- Hello, everyone. My name is Holly, and I will be the English trainer for this hour. Um, and we will be going over managing a phone call. And what we will do is we'll start out with a warm-up discussion. Then we will look at some vocabulary and discuss what these vocabulary means. Then we'll go do a listening activity. We'll talk about useful expressions, and then we'll end with a role play. And after that, we will then go in, if there's time, we'll go in and discuss, do some conversation questions on telephones. So that is the plan for today. So, okay, and so again, my name is Holly, and I will be presenting this material to you today. Just a little about me. I'm originally from Idaho, where I am currently living. Idaho is in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. I have been teaching English as a second or a foreign language since 1994. And I have taught English in South Korea and in Finland. I was in Finland for 11 years. My favorite subjects to talk about are my dogs, my dog, my nieces and nephews, and also about the time I lived in Finland and cultural differences. It's really fun to talk about. Let's see. I've been teaching online since 2006, and because of this type of teaching, it allowed me to go back to the United States, and I came back to the US in 2009. So this class we will be talking about managing a phone call and going through this worksheet in a systematic way. We'll start out by doing a warm-up discussion and talking about calls that you receive at work. Then we'll look at some vocabulary. We'll do a listening activity. We'll look at some expressions. And then we will do a role play. So that is the plan for today. So I look forward to working with whoever comes. If not, I will go through the material systematically. And so again, yeah, managing a phone call or working with telephone English is speaking a language in face-to-face is much easier than over the telephone, because you do not have the facial expressions. All you have is the tone of voice and the vocabulary. So it is kind of can be quite challenging for many people. I've learned that the thing that is the most challenging for a lot of people is actually spelling and understanding the spelling on the phone. Another thing that's challenging for people is just having the confidence to make that phone call and to speak to the person. It's another thing that is fairly challenging to many people on the phone. All right, let's look at this warm-up discussion. The question is, how often do you receive telephone calls at work? Are the subjects of the calls always relevant? Of course. It really depends on what kind of job you have. My first job after college, I was 21 years old, and I worked there till I was 24. I received on average about between 90 and 100 calls a day because I worked in a call center. And I just took that many calls. That was the average of how many calls I received and took care of. I've worked in other jobs where you received one call an hour, and I've also worked in jobs where we received no calls. So it really depends on the job that you work. So And as far as the subject's always relevant, when you answer a call center, no, they're not, and you end up having to do a lot of transferring, and holding the consumers and the customer's hand until you get them to the right person. So when you are working at a hotel, which I've done, most of the calls are very relevant. So it depends on where you are working as to whether the calls are relevant. So that's my answer to the warm-up questions. How about you? Is any so let's look at some vocabulary now. Let's read the following telephone conversation and use the adjectives below to describe the speakers. Hello, John. How are things with you? Did you have a nice holiday with the family? Yes, we went to Tunisia again. Look, tell me what you want. I'm very busy. I just needed your cash flow forecast for next month. Okay, I'll email it to you after lunch. How was the weather in Tunisia? It was wonderful. I must go. Okay, could you tell me how your new office is? I have no time to talk to you. Can you get off the phone? Okay, bye. Wow. All right. The person B is actually not being very polite. So we have these words. What is person A being and what is person B being? We have rude, blunt, chatty, direct, tactless, abrupt, friendly, nosy, cold, unprofessional, straight, unfriendly, and bored. Okay, so let's use these adjectives to describe the people. So rude, were any of these people rude? Was person A rude, or was person B? In my opinion, person B was rude. The person did not have time to speak, but there are other things that they could say. Rude is another word that means impolite. Then we have the word blunt. If a person is blunt, it is rude, and they are very, very straight. So very straightforward. So that would be B again. Chatty. If a person is chatty, they are talking about all kinds of things and not necessarily about the topic at hand. They're chatty, they're chatterboxes. And that would be A. A was fairly chatty. Direct. Someone who is blunt is also direct, so that would be B. Tactless. If somebody is able to say something in a rude way, they're being tactless, so that would be B. Abrupt. I must go. I'm very busy. That is abrupt. That's B. Friendly. How are things with you? Did you have a nice holiday with the family? That would be A. Nosy. Nosy is when you ask questions that probably are not appropriate. Possibly that would be E. Could you tell me how your new office is? A. So hi, Ken. How are you? I'm going to start the lesson over because now someone's here. Ken?
Yes, hello.
Hi. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Good. So what time is it right now in Japan?
It's 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. And what time do you usually start taking classes with Verbling?
2
Or just
p.m.
about 2 p.m. about this time? Okay. Yeah. And you just periodically you just pop in and jump in whenever you feel like it, or do you have a? I'm just kind of
Mhm.
curious. Do you have a
Uh,
specific
not so specific prefer.
schedule?
I tend to join the fewer student class if
Ah,
it's yeah because it's a class is large, so I cannot take answer so much.
You don't
Yeah,
have it. You don't with the large classes. You don't have the opportunity to speak.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's what somebody said to me. I think it was a couple days ago. And this hour, for some reason, for a while, has been fairly not very many students for some reason. Of course, people in Europe are this is like 6 a.m. in Spain,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
early for a lot of people. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, excellent. So so the topic we're doing right now is we're
Mhm.
managing a phone call, and
Okay.
and so we'll be talking about telephones and going over some vocabulary. Some are really good vocabulary words that
Mhm.
maybe even you won't know.
Okay.
so
Mhm.
so that's good. And then we'll end up with a role play and then do a discussion about telephones,
Okay.
telephoning, and possibly somebody else might join us. Who knows?
Mhm.
All right. So let's start out with this warm up discussion. Um, how often do you receive telephone calls at work? Are the subjects of the calls always relevant? Okay, so I guess since you're a student,
Mhm.
you're not working right now. So can you think back to when you had a job
Mhm.
when you were working? Did you
Mhm.
receive a lot of telephone calls at that time?
Not so much. My job are different from the
Mm-hmm.
desk work, so I don't call the telephone call so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. When you did receive the calls, they were probably
Mhm.
always relevant, right?
Yeah, in my case, not,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes in my home, irrelevant, kind of misdialed phone call.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get a lot of wrong number calls and things like that. Now, do you like I have stopped answering calls if I don't know who they are. Um,
Yeah, me neither. Yes,
Me too.
because
You would say me too. Me
me
too.
too. Yes,
And why? How come you have?
because a lot of catches probably it's not English. Sales phone, sales call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell them. We would say either a sales call or the other one is telemarketing,
yeah, tell yeah. Often,
telemarketers.
yeah, often comes. So eh, I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
When you get caught up with a telemarketer, do you stay on the line or do you get off for it really quickly?
Yeah, I get off very quickly.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I actually started my working life with my real,
Mhm.
but the first real part-time job I had, I was doing telemarketing, and
Mhm.
it used to drive me crazy when I would read through the whole thing that I was supposed to read, and then the person said, "Thank you, I'm not interested." I would always prefer it if the person would just hang up on me, because then I could get on to the next call. So, hello. Okay, maybe he'll be back. So, so as we wait for Ken to return, it sounds like the way he got off, it sounds like his internet completely just canceled. Because usually when you lose your internet, or usually if it's another issue, it takes a while to drop out. So anyway, unprofessional right here. I would say both of these people were being unprofessional. Um, Straight, person is straight, direct, blunt. All three of them are very similar. That would be B. Unfriendly, that would be B. Bored, Probably both of them. So the question, how could you improve the underlying expressions in the dialogue? Look, tell me what you want. I'm very busy. So a suggestion for that one would be how can I help you? I'm afraid I have to go. I must go. I'm afraid I'm really busy at the moment. Can you get back to me later? I'm afraid I must go. I'm very busy. Thank you very much for talking to me, but I have no time. Can we talk later? Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? Maybe we should plan on meeting for coffee sometime. So those are just some suggestions for that. Okay, let me give you the listening. For the listening, you'll find the audios right here. Press on the audio there, and you can go to the listening. So go ahead and listen to the audio. Hello, Carl Bauer speaking. Hi, Carl. This is Allison. How are you doing? Oh, you know, busy with the usual projects. I hope the new boss isn't working you too hard. Actually, she's been great. So what can I do for you? Well, I just wanted to discuss your projected sales figures for next month. By the way, how's Mario getting along in his new position? He's doing fine. Is he getting on well with the rest of the team? I know he can be a bit of an office clown sometimes. Actually, he's fitting in just fine. Anyway, are you happy with the figures? Yes, I think that on the whole they are reasonable for this time of year. But I think the figure for projected sales is a little optimistic in the current economic climate. Okay, I'll have another look and revise it. Well, it's been good talking to you. And yes, we must go out for a drink sometime and catch up. Sounds good. And I hear there's this a great new bar that's just opened on Church Street. You'll really like it. Allison, there's an important call just come in on the other line. I really have to go. Oh, okay then. Speak to you soon. Bye. I was entertaining.
Oh, yeah, my connection.
Yeah,
cut off. Yeah.
I could. It was the actual at the router, right? The internet completely went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Maybe after I start up this computer in this time, yeah, this always at the beginning it's heavy, and then it turns to be, yeah, it become normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's interesting is usually people, as you know, we all have problems sometimes, and we kind of like you hang on in the classroom, but you can't hear anything, or you can't speak. You can hear it, but you can't speak, or whatever, right?
No,
But with you completely went out.
yeah, your voice cut out and remain silent, and maybe seems like this computer as frozen.
Yeah,
Freeze.
on my point of view, you were just all of a sudden gone. So
I see. So maybe I cannot talk anything if that
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, because well, from your point of view, you were frozen, but from mine, you weren't even there. So it was like all of a sudden your picture was left. Oh, by the way, um, do you know the word timeless?
Timeless. Kind of endless or something like that, or no time or.
Yeah, if something is timeless, basically, every generation will enjoy it.
Ah,
And
okay, I
and
see.
I was thinking of you. We did a class where we were talking about time, and
Mm-hmm.
that word came up,
Mm-hmm.
and it was decided that the Beatles
Mm-hmm. Mm.
was a timeless band. Would you
Mm.
agree?
Yes, I think so. Sometimes three generation enjoying now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And possibly, who knows, 4 or 5 generations or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, and then somebody mentioned Paul McCartney, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember why, and I said Ken would agree with you. So,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but anyway, back to telephone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, well, I was going to say when I was working, my first job after college was at the telephone company, and
Mm-hmm.
I took an average of 100 calls a day, and
Mm-hmm.
I would say half of those calls were not relevant.
Oh my gosh, that's a pain in the
Yeah,
neck.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when you call an 800 number, you don't know, you're not going to get the right person right off. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to read this dialogue, and then we're going to look at some adjectives, and we can decide on these adjectives which whether it describes person A or person B. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you will be person A,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be person B. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hello, John. How are things with you? Did you have a nice holiday with your family?
Yes, we went to Tunisia again. Look, tell me what you want. I'm very busy.
I just needed your cash for flow forecast for next month.
Okay, I'll email it to you after lunch.
How was the weather in Tunisia?
It was wonderful. I must go.
Okay, could you tell me how your new office is?
I have no time to talk to you. Can you get off the phone?
Okay, bye.
Okay, what did you think of that conversation?
Person A didn't listen. Is was not listening to person B talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
you weren't. Did you read it though?
Uh-huh.
Or
This content shows this person A
uh-huh.
didn't listen to what person B says.
True. Person A
Yeah.
wasn't listening. And then what do you think what do you think of person B's language?
Language not yeah kind of standard normal, but
No.
no.
Very rude, abrupt, angry sounding, actually.
Yes, yes, because but I think because of the person A, because
Really, you think it's because of person A?
he
That's interesting.
he person B persistently says, I'm busy, but the person A just asking irrelevant question.
Okay, it's interesting because I was thinking, man, how rude person B is.
Hmm.
Um, Person A could have just, uh, didn't have to continue on, but person B was really rude, especially, can you get off the phone? So, so in English, all of these things that are underlined would be considered rude.
Hmm. Yeah, very direct.
Yeah, much more direct, especially in British English. So,
Hmm.
hi Bakri, how are you today? Bakri, are you there?
Yep.
Welcome.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
All right, nice to see you. So we just read through this dialogue and we're discussing this. Would you like to? Do you want to read through it together again,
Yeah,
or have you
yeah.
been watching? So,
No, I just came. So.
okay, you just got here. Okay, so why don't okay, why don't or Ken, why don't you read person B and Bakri, you read person A.
Okay. So, hello, John. How are things with you? Did you have a nice holiday with the family?
Yes, we went to Tunisia again. Look, tell me what you want. I'm busy. I'm very busy.
I just need your cash flow forecast for next month.
Okay, I'll mail it to you after lunch.
How was the weather in Tunisia?
It was wonderful. I must go.
Okay. Could you tell me how your new office is?
I have no time to talk to you. Can I get off the phone?
Okay.
To me, this is just a crazy conversation.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, so Ken said one thing. What do you think about these in this conversation? See if you said the same thing that Ken said.
Like he's most probably is so busy, so he cannot talk right now. So just like say anything and that's it.
Okay, what do you think of person A?
Who is person A, for example, or
No, that's a person you read. What do you think? Were they okay in what they were saying? So Ken said something I didn't realize. The person A wasn't listening. And so person B started getting more and more direct.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what we're going to do is the main purpose for this is to look at these words right here and decide is person A this or is person B being this? So for
rude.
the first one, is that person A or person B?
Person B. Yeah.
Person B. Would you agree, Ken?
Sorry, I couldn't catch it.
The word rude. Who is being rude? Person A or person B?
Both are rude in some sense.
Uh-huh.
In other sense.
Uh-huh. In some sense, because A isn't listening.
Yeah.
And is persisting on the small talk, and person B is being too direct. Okay, so I will agree with that. Okay, blunt. Is that a new word for you guys?
Blunt is a B more than A, or A B.
So what does blunt mean, Bakri?
No expressions like either positive or negative.
No, it's not actually that. Do you know what it means, Ken?
Blunt, maybe, how can we say, drawer. Drew.
Well, blunt is so blunt. Okay, so there's as far as blunt. Blunt has several meanings, and so let's just talk about that just a little bit. First of all, when you talk about objects, for example, blunt object. A blunt object would be, for example, oops, no, somebody is getting killed by a blunt object, for example. A blunt in this respect is not sharp. However, when it comes, and I'm going to get off of that because I saw blood. I don't like that. However, when you're talking about a blunt personality, so a blunt object is not sharp, and I think that's what you were thinking, Ken. But blunt here, the person is sharp. They're direct. They're just a little bit too honest, to the point that they are rude. For example, there's two ways to tell a person something. You can say, you are fat and you shouldn't
Eat
eat pizza, okay? Or shouldn't you eat some salad to help so you can be more healthy? Which one is blunt?
A, probably.
Yep. If this type of thing is very blunt, where this one is indirect, and so it's polite. So if you're blunt, you're very direct and very impolite. So in this respect, B was being very blunt. Can you get off the phone? I must go.
So it's mean on it seems like rude, but it's so sharp.
It's very sharp. It's
Yeah.
If a person is blunt, a person can actually hurt somebody else by saying, you are fat and you shouldn't eat pizza. I am fat now, but when I first moved to Korea, I was not. I was a little overweight. I was about 20 pounds overweight, and I was told, "Oh, you are fat. Stop drinking Pepsi." I probably should have listened to them, but. And that to me was very, very hurtful and because the person was way too blunt. But, all right, chatty. What does this word mean?
Talk a lot.
Yes, a person who is chatty talks a lot. All right. And so who in this dialogue was chatty?
A.
A, yes. Okay, another word for chatty in American English could be a chatterbox. Okay.
How about talkative? No, not that.
Talkative. Yeah, a chatterbox is somebody who's talkative. Okay, direct. Who was direct in this?
B.
B, yes. B was direct. Okay, who was tactless?
A.
Well, actually,
B.
I'm thinking B. What does tactless mean? There's also the opposite of that is tactful. What does it mean?
No tactics.
No, there is no wisdom or
No
why
wisdom.
talking. Yeah.
There's no wisdom in what you're saying. If it's kind of like a person who is blunt is tactless. So, all right. So B would be tactless. Okay. And how about abrupt? Who was abrupt here?
B. Abrupt. Seem like sharp.
Okay. Abrupt is sharp, yeah. So and B was abrupt. Okay. Who here was friendly or tried to be?
A. Yeah, he's trying to be
A.
a friend.
Yeah, trying to be friendly, but it's hard. Who here was nosy?
Maybe B.
From noise.
No. First of all, what does it mean? Any idea?
Maybe kind of being curious about somebody.
Yeah.
That means A.
No, curiosity.
Yeah, a person who is nosy many times will ask inappropriate questions. So, you ask very, very personal questions, and a lot of times this is a good answer. One time, I innocently asked somebody a question one time, and she looked at me and she said, MYOB. I'm like, what? And it stood for mind your own business. So it's one way. Of course, if you say MYOB, it's probably pretty blunt. But sometimes you might somebody. I was 21. I don't even remember. I think it was about a family tradition or something like that about Thanksgiving. I can't remember what it was, but I remember looking at her going, "Wow." So, all right, cold. Who
Is it
here was
common?
probably
MYOP?
most people
Like
would
well
know it.
known?
It's well known by native speakers. Non-native speakers probably not. But a lot of it's more of a more childish type thing.
Teenagers.
So
So,
teenagers, maybe teenagers. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, you might run into it. I wouldn't ever try to use it, Bakri, unless you know unless you know that person knows it. So cold. Who here was cold? And it's
B.
not talking about temperature. B.
yeah.
Okay. B. All right. And who was unprofessional?
A.
Yeah. I would agree with you there. A. Okay. Who here was straight?
B.
B. Okay. And who here was unfriendly?
B.
B.
And bored.
A.
I think A was bored because that's why they were asking all those questions. Now, question for you. Okay, what is the difference between bored and boring?
Adjective bored. Boring. I think.
Also an adjective. So,
But describing the personality and describing the events or something going on. This is boring. The person, I can say for the person, bored.
okay, but a professor could be boring in a university. Basically, this is one way to think of it. Okay, someone who is boring makes everyone else bored. Does that make sense? So you would never say I am boring, or you never say, unless if you have a friend that every time that person speaks, you're like, oh man, they make me fall asleep. They're boring. But if you're bored, it's because you want to fall asleep because your mind is not stimulated or whatever. So, but those two words are commonly
And
confused.
maybe bored is used. I got bored by something or something.
Yeah, you can say I got bored listening to that boring professor. So, I mean, for me, when I'm in training or anything, I cannot sit there and listen to a lecture. It will put me to sleep every time. So, all right. Now, how could you improve the underlined expressions in the dialogue? What do you think?
Tell me what you want.
Any suggestions on those?
Expressions is
Maybe, excuse me, I'm busy right now. Maybe, look, tell me. It's
abrupt.
Yeah, very
Abrupt.
direct. So
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me, I'm busy right now, or I'm afraid I'm very busy. These are some of the ones that the authors of this material suggested for these. These are some different ones already right here. How can I help you? I'm afraid I have to go. I'm afraid I'm really busy at the moment. Can you get back to me later? He's not going to call you. Can you get instead of can you get off the phone, can you get back to me later? Can you call later? I'm afraid I'm really busy. So those are some just suggestions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the beginning and end of another telephone conversation, and then we'll put true or false next to the following statements. Let me give you the link. Bear with me a moment. Here is the link for this listening. And tell me when you are done with it.
Well, yeah, the British accent is so typical.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Oh man, I've been trying to talk to you guys.
Really?
And I put my microphone on mute and I've been going, hello? Hello? Okay, yeah, so Carl would rather talk about business than make small talk. Is that true or false?
Alison was doing that.
Yeah, Allison was doing the small talk. So this one, Allison was doing the small talk, and Carl was trying to talk about business. So this one is true.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Rather. Okay, yeah. Rather.
Yeah. So number 2, Allison wants to end the conversation quickly. Is that true or false?
False.
False. Okay. It is false. Because it was Carl that wanted to end the conversation. Allison wanted to talk a little bit more. Let's look a little bit more at this transcript and read through it together. and that might help because the British accent, like you said,
So yeah.
wandering,
So yeah.
it was kind of
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. I
Not
barely finished the American accent, so I start a new accent again.
So let's go ahead and read this. Ken, why don't you do Carl, and Bakri, you play Allison.
Okay.
And, or
Okay.
we can call him Adam or something like that.
Okay.
Hello, Carl Berger speaking.
Hi, Carol. This is Alison. How are you doing?
Oh, busy with the usual project.
I hope the new boss isn't working you too hard.
Actually, she's been great. So what can I do for you?
Well, I just wanted to discuss your projected sales figures for next month. By the way, how's Mario getting along in his new position?
He's doing fine.
Is he getting on well with the rest of the team? I know he can be a bit of an office clone sometimes.
Actually, he's fitting in just fine. Anyway, you are happy with the figures?
Yes, I think that on the whole they are reasonable for this time of year, but I think the figure for projected sales is a little optimistic in the current economic climate.
Okay, I'll have another look and revise it. Well, it's been good talking to you. And?
Yes, we must go out for a drink sometimes and catch up.
Sounds good.
And I hear there's this great new bar that's just opened on Church Street. You really like it.
Alison, there's an important call just come in up the other line. I really have to go.
Oh, okay then. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Now, one of the things I wanted to go over with you guys on this is something that's really cultural in here that maybe you guys are not aware of. But first of all, before I go through what was said that you may or may not have caught on, are there any words or phrases here that you guys do not know?
Cologne, office cologne sometimes.
Clown. Okay.
Office
So
clown.
an office clown is the person that pretty much everybody is the person in the office that's never serious. He enjoys joking, enjoys making fun of all kinds of things. And so it's like the class clown. That's the person that the teachers usually really like him, but is not always the most serious person in the class. So, okay, any other words? Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. This saying right here.
Catch
We
up.
we must go out for a drink sometime and catch up. Okay, now a native speaker would know what this means. Have either one of you caught up on this?
I thought maybe keep in touch. Capture me. Keep in touch.
Yes.
Catch up.
Yeah. Well, let's go out for a drink sometime and catch up, which means to catch up with somebody means to find out what's been going on lately. Maybe it's been a while since we've talked.
Oh,
Okay, now, but that isn't really the point here. When two native speakers are talking, even between British and the U.S. or the U.K. and the U.S. or even Canada and the U.S., whatever, if a person says, we must go, or we should or we must go out for a drink sometime, or we should get together for coffee sometime, or you should come over to my house sometime for a barbecue. In our cultures, we are meaning it, but we also, in the back of our minds, know that it will never happen.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's fair.
So it's for Bakri, since you live in the States, it's really important for you to know that. Now, see what happens next in this dialogue. Carl says sounds good, okay, and he's done. He's like, he says sounds good. He's agreed to it, but then she continues on and says, I hear there's this new bar on Church Street. You'll really like it. Okay, so she was continuing on. In the same, if you guys, the situation is with native speakers, if we use the word sometime to go out sometime, and then do not immediately set a date or a time, we didn't really mean it. So Allison was really meaning it, and she was wanting to set up a date or a time, but Carl cut her off.
Yeah.
So she knows, oh, if this okay then is really, okay, I understand, I get it. Speak to you soon, bye. So it will probably never be mentioned, or the next time they talk, again, Allison or Carl will say, we must go for a drink sometime and catch up. But the chance that they ever do that is very, very low. And it's something that non-native speakers who have visited the UK and the US have asked for years. Why did you invite me to your place but didn't mean it? Have you ever run into that, Bakri, yet?
Not yet, but yeah.
Okay, listen to that, especially if you're listening to two native speakers who have been friends, and they say, let's get together sometimes. Yeah, we really should get together sometimes. Usually it's with must or should. We use a modal, a modal of possibility type of thing, and then use the word sometime, but they do not set a date. And but there have been, I've heard about foreign visitors to both the UK and the US where the American or the native speaking colleague has said to the person, you should come drop by my house sometime. And so the non-native speaker thinks, oh, that was an invitation. So he goes over to the person's house and the person says, why are you here? So if it's not followed up with a time, don't go. So. All right. So let's look at some expressions. Let's well, we've got just a few minutes. Now, do you guys like role play, or do you prefer discussion?
Discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's both.
Okay, for you it doesn't matter. Okay, I remembered that Ken, you had mentioned that you didn't really care for role play. So we've got some questions here about telephoning and telephone. So let's go ahead and ask and answer some of these questions. So Ken, why don't you ask the first question? Choose a question and ask.
Okay. Have you ever left a voicemail or a message on an answering machine?
For me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Question for you. I have one on my phone right now, and I don't know when I'm going to listen to it. Do you listen to your voicemails very quickly? Because I don't, hardly at all.
Not on time. Like maybe a few hours later.
Okay, not immediately.
Sometimes at the end of the day.
I average several weeks or several days. How about you, Ken? Do you listen to your voicemails very quickly?
When I found it, so not so quickly.
Okay, so you don't realize. Okay, all right. So Bakri, why don't you choose a question?
Okay. Is it difficult to communicate to someone who doesn't speak English very well?
In terms of Japanese speaker, it's okay, but as a language speaker, one time I my roommate's mother go to the dormitory, but she doesn't speak English, so I just say no, he's no. That's kind of pigeon English because it was difficult. Yeah.
And where was your roommate from?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, have you guys found that, like right now, it's kind of where we have a visual in front of us, but we're not looking at each other, you know?
Yeah.
You guys see me and my dog, maybe, or no, I guess you see the visual.
Yeah.
I see flags and John Lennon. Okay. So, do you find that this kind of situation where you're not actually seeing each other is going to help you with your telephone English? Does it help you understand?
Kind of flag appears in the telephone or something?
Well, for example, in this situation, okay, it's kind of like we're on the phone in some respects with a visual in front of us. And when the class has 5 people in it and everybody has a different accent, are you finding that are you improving in your ability to understand?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's one advantage of attending online class.
Yeah. Especially when there's no camera. So,
yeah. We feel more relaxed and we can talk. No stress. No pressure.
I was teaching a class a few hours ago on camera, and I was teaching some of the same material that I use with you guys, but it was really difficult, really weird, because I've gotten so used to not using the camera. So, but okay, cell phone. So let's see. Okay, Bakri, how many text messages do you send in a day?
Not that much. Like sometimes like 4 or 5 per week. Sometimes up to 20 per week. It depends on the situation. During the month, end of the month, maybe beginning of new month. Beginning of the day.
Do you prefer text or voice?
I prefer texting. Yeah, it's really more quick.
I prefer voice, but I'm a chatterbox. I'm chatty. So, how about you, Ken? Do you prefer text or voice?
Text.
Really?
Yeah, it's easier. Maybe I don't know how to leave voice message actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For me, phone calls, it takes some time, and sometimes if the other person picks the phone or not, or trying to explain, just send a message, and whenever you got the message, you will be back by the message, so you don't have to wait, and you can be multitask at the same time.
Yeah, my mom, she'll be 75 on Saturday, right? So she's kind of old. She prefers text, and I'm like, really? And she says it's because if you call somebody, you end up talking to them for 20 minutes. But if you send a text, it's just done. And I totally prefer the 20-minute telephone call. But anyway, I do want to thank you both for coming and going through this worksheet at least partway with me, and I hope you learned a little bit. Remember, if somebody's boring, then you are bored.
Yeah.
So if you are boring, everybody else is bored. So
we must go out sometime and catch up.
Yes. Yeah. We need to get together sometime and catch up sometime, but let's not set a time now. Okay. All right. Thank you both. Have a good day. It is now my Friday, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday or Thursday. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.